Hi, this is Raquel with Balloon Splendor. I'm going to be showing you how to build a centerpiece today. We're going to start with the base down here, and you'll notice it's got a little bit of a 3D look to it, a little perspective. We're going to go up here to the Shapes tool. We're going to select one called Can, and we're going to draw it out. So you click, drag, and let it go to the size you want it. We can adjust the size and the perspective a little bit, just like that. We can click on the Fill button and we can color it in, just like that. We're going to put the post in next, and we're going to go up here to the toolbar again, and we're going to put it right in the middle and pull it straight up. And we can right click and do a format auto shape. That's another way to get to changing the colors and the line thicknesses. You can also just highlight it and change the number. So there it is, a little bit thicker. Next we're going to add the bottom quads. So I have quads, two different kinds of quads saved in my page parts, my builder block. So we're going to go ahead and drag that in place. And before I resize it, I'm going to make sure that my lock aspect ratio button is selected, so I can pull on the corner like that and the balloons all stay round, using my arrow key to nudge it into place. And I'm going to give it a fill. We're going to color it in gold. Oh, I just have the one selected. Okay, there we go. And if you'll notice, there's a little bit of a gradient thing going here. So we're going to go ahead and learn a new button. There's one called Gradient. And this helps to give the balloons a little more perspective, a little more depth, a little more of a 3D look, a little rounder. We've got a light source coming in from the right over here. These are lighter than these over here. So I think that looks good. It looks a little more professional than just simply colored in. I'm going to go up here and put in the other duplicate. I will go ahead and lock the aspect ratio. I don't know what that button's about. I've never seen that one pop up before. Interesting. I wonder what happens there. Huh. Always learning something new in Publisher. Never seen that button pop up before. Oh, look at that. I forgot to do my lock aspect ratio. I had done that. Maybe that button undid something. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. I can size it up just a little bit. Always learning something new about Publisher. And we're going to go ahead and color that in again. How about both of them? There we go. And then we can go ahead and put the gradient in there again. Gradient. That's the front one. I don't like that. We'll just keep them all the same. There we go. Now we're going to put the topiary on top. There's my topiary. I'll place it right there on top. And I think I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. That's a little bit big there. So I reselected it, going up to Format. Make sure my lock aspect ratio button is clicked, and I'm going to shrink that up just a touch. Just a touch. Okay. Click outside, select it again. I think what happens is when you click on a particular element within the picture, if you see these little buttons show up, it means it's only going to color in that one, I think is what that is. Yep, that's exactly what happens. So you click outside and you click it again, and you've got the guide buttons or whatever these things are called. Now if you color it, it's going to color in the whole thing. So always, there's a ton of little nuances within Publisher. I'm constantly learning new things, so there's something new there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a little gradient action on that too. That looks pretty. That looks like a Qualitex Azure color maybe. I don't think balloons actually come in that color, so maybe we need to tone down the gradient a little bit. And that's something you're going to want to be very, very careful with. And that is not to be selling a design that you literally cannot produce. So now what I'm not understanding is I'm wanting to do a gradient, yet these are showing up as blue. Okay, well, last time I did that it changed the colors to blue. Now that bothers my eye. You know why? Because I got the light source coming in from over here on the bottom and from this side on the top. So let's be a little more consistent on that. So we're going to go over here. Okay, now we get the light coming from the same spot. Oh, I think I'm going to make my container a little bit smaller. That's a little too big there. Okay, now we're going to put these little tissue tufts or cellophane tufts or whatever that little action thing is. And that is actually a standard picture. It's a little star, and I just distort the star a little bit. Let's make them a different color. Let's do them in, oh, I don't know, a darker blue? Oh, we'll go lighter blue. That'll be something a little fun. We're going to copy and paste, Control C, Control V on the keyboard, and I'm just going to keep hitting my Control V to continue pasting them around. Okay, just like that. Copy, paste. I'm going to spread this one out a little bit. Try to do a little variety so that's not quite so static looking. And you can see that if you're really particular and really anal, you can spend a lot of time tweaking. If you have a design that you use often, like let's say this is a really big seller for you, that this type of look, we can save this as a building block also. Okay, so let's say we're done putting the fru-fru around the bottom. Now to get that all tucked under like it is here, you click on the quad that's right there, and we're going to bring the quad forward, and there it is, it's tucked under there. Okay, so there's the centerpiece. So let's say we want to save it as a building block. We can select the whole thing. We're going to group it. Whoops, this button over here, group. Okay, we're going to right click, and we're going to save it as a building block, and we're going to call it Topiary Centerpiece. Okay, it's going to show up in the gallery. That all looks wonderful and great, and there it is. So now if I delete that and I have a new customer that wants that centerpiece, I can go in and I can start here. I can ungroup it, and now we can start coloring in the different elements. Let's say their party is all in black and silver. I'm going to select my fru-fru. We're going to turn it silver. I can very quickly change my balloons all into black. I'm going to give it a little bit of a gradient because black is a hard color to tell that it's, whoops, that it's black. Gradient. Wow, you can't even tell it's a gradient. I've never done it with black before. Can you tell? So let's do something a little more obvious here. There we go. Woo! Too much. So you can see where this just takes practice. Alright, well, we're not going to do the gradient there then. We're just going to go ahead and change everything to black. Maybe if I did it, yeah, no, we're going to do that way. I did a little bit lighter shade of black. Maybe that'll be different. Oh yeah, it is changing, but it's just so subtle you can barely see it. Well, there you go. So now you've got a black and silver version of it, just like that. And then you can do a file, save as, JPEG file, and then you can email that off to your client. I think that's all I have to say about that. So there you go, a topiary centerpiece. You can save it as a building block, change the colors out. You've learned how to do a little bit of detail down here. You've learned how to build a container. And if there's something that you want to see done, feel free to email me at contact@balloonsplendor.com, or you can make a note in the bottom in YouTube there. That'll come to me directly. And if I can figure out how to do it, I'd be more than happy to show you how to do it. I'm Raquel Porter with Balloon Splendor.